I think today we're going to learn how to make some knots. Hey guys, Justin with Backyard Bushcraft. So I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I know you've all missed me. It's been a little crazy the last couple of weeks. Real busy with work and just running around doing things for the house. I finally, looks like I'll have some free time on my hands where I can get some of these projects that I have planned for the fall and summer. One of them being a bushcraft chair or a bushcraft stool. That's really going to bring some bushcraft skills into play. One of those skills we haven't really talked about yet is tying knots. What I'd like to do is just go over 3 or maybe 4 basic knots that you would use either in a camping or bushcraft or survival type situation. Before we get there, I just want to go over some basic terminology. So as I'm explaining to you what I'm doing, you at least know what you're looking at. Okay, so just a few things to know when it comes to tying knots, some of the terminology, just so you don't get confused when I'm talking. You have what they call the working end or running end of your rope. You have your standing end, which will be down here. The rest of the rope, obviously, that's not your working end. You will have a bite. You just make a bite like this. And then you have a loop. Right, that's just some of your basic terminology when it comes to a rope and tying knots. One of my favorite knots to use pretty much on a daily basis is the bowline knot or bowline knot. However you want to say it, your preference. But what you're going to do is create a fixed loop at the end of your rope. So what you do is you take your rope and you make a loop. Very important that your standing end, or I'm sorry, your working end is running on top like this. The loop does not have to be big. You just need something about that size. You're going to take your working end right here, okay? And you're going to pass it through that loop that you've made. Next, you're then going to take that working end and you're going to pass it underneath. Try to get you good here. You're going to pass it underneath your standing end of your rope and come back through the loop you originally made. What I like to do, I like to pinch my running end to my loop I've just created, and then we pull down and make our knot. And what you're left with is a standing fixed loop that will not slip. So just one of the things that you can do with this knot, just to give you an idea, besides passing something through and tying it down, if you fold this knot, or this loop, I should say, you fold this loop back on your standing end and you pull your standing end through, creating that bite. You can then take a handle or take a piece of wood, create a handle, really come down on that. And now you have yourself a handle that if you wanted to pull something or tighten something, or you're trying to secure something down, you can really get a good grip and pull that sucker down. And this knot will not slip and will not come undone. One of the good things about the bowline knot is it's very, very easy to untie. You're gonna come back here. You're gonna pull this piece down here. Once it slips down, oops, sorry, my fingers. The knot simply comes undone. Okay, so your basic overhand knot, very simple. You've probably made it 1,000 times in your life. You can use this as like a jam knot. You could use this as a stop knot, prevent the rope from slipping through something else that you've tied off. Very simple, overhand knot. You're gonna take your working end, come over your standing end, come through the loop you've just made, and voila, you have an overhand knot. And this, like I said, if you have something and you want to use as a stop knot, it'll prevent your knot from slipping out. Okay, so you find yourself in a situation where you need to carry stuff around camp, or you need to secure some items together. One of the best knots to use is the Arbonate or the Bushcraft cable tie. You're going to tie this knot by making 2 overhand knots. It's pretty simple to make, and I'm going to show you just a quick example here, pretending this is a larger pile of wood, obviously, on how you can secure these pieces of wood together to get them around camp. Okay, so you're going to start with your rope over your wood, obviously, just like this. Okay, pretty simple. What you're then going to do is you're going to make your first overhand knot. So you're going to take your working end, you're going to come under your standing end, just like this, okay? And then you're going to come back around, and through that loop you just made. And what you've done is you've made a slip knot. Just to show you, you've made a slip knot, okay? Now getting back to where we were. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to make another overhand knot with your tag end here. You're going to take your rope, you're going to come up and over with your working end. You're going to come through your loop you just made, and you're going to make an overhand knot. Now you get to work. Now you're just going to take your rope, you're going to cinch this down as tight as you want. And there you have your Arbonate, and you've secured whatever it is that you want to carry around camp. That's not going to go anywhere. The best part about this is when you've reached your destination, very simply, you take your tag end that you've left on your rope, and you're just going to pull it, and that will nice and easily undo your Arbonate. So another very important knot to know is the Clove Hitch. This is probably one of the most common knots that you can know. Utilized by boaters. It's utilized when you want to begin a lashing, but it's a binding knot. It's a binding hitch, I guess you could call it. So let's say this is the item that you want to tie off to. You're going to take your rope. You're going to come over your sapling or your pole or whatever it is that you want to tie off to, okay? You're then going to come over your first wrap, making an X, back around, and then underneath that second wrap you made. And then you're going to pull on both sides. Dress this up nice, and then that will be your Clove Hitch. Very simple. Not to be trusted actually on its own. It does come undone if you pull the opposite way, which I'll show you. Just come the opposite way, and there you go. The knot slips off just like that. Very easy to tie, very easy to untie. There are 2 ways to tie this knot. Okay, the first one is just how I showed you. The second one is if you have access to the top of a pole or the top of a tree or whatever it is that you're looking to tie off to, you're going to take your rope, all right, and you're going to make a simple loop. Boom, just like that. Then you're going to make another loop, just like that. Okay, so now you have 2 loops. You're going to take your second loop that you made, you're going to put it on top of your first loop. And then you're going to come to your tree, your piling, whatever, you're going to put it over, and then you're just going to pull both sides. You're going to dress that up nice, and there you'll have your Clove Hitch as well. Very easy knot to tie, very easy knot to untie, and a very important knot to know. So the next knot that we're going to talk about is the Prusic knot. This is a tension knot. What I have here is set up like a ridgeline, let's just say, that you would use for a tarp. And if you need to put some tension on this to tighten your tarp up, this is where this Prusic knot would come in into play. You want to use a smaller diameter rope with your larger diameter rope. That's the most effective way that this knot will work. You can use the same diameter rope, but it does have a tendency to slip. So the best way to do it is to use a smaller diameter rope. Very simple. You have your ridgeline set up. You're just gonna come and pass, maybe I'll do it this way. You're gonna come and pass your first knot through. So you're gonna be left with something like that. All right, this is just your basic lock's head knot. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna come through a second time. Okay, and you're gonna keep this all dressed up nice. And then you're gonna do it one more time. So 3 passes, and that will give you your Prusic knot. So now the cool thing about this knot is it will slide very easily up and down your rope. Okay? When it comes time to tie off to something, and now you need to really use that as a tension knot, you can pull this and it's not gonna slip. Doesn't matter which direction you go, this will, I'm pulling this pretty good right now, that will not slip. But if you need to make an adjustment, again, you could slide the knot back and forth, no problem. So again, these were just some simple camping knots, or just some bushcraft knots, if you want to call them, that I use on a daily basis. The Arbonate and the Clove Hitch being my 2 favorite. So that's going to do it, guys. 5 simple knots that you can utilize around camp. You can use in your backyard. You can use at work, whatever it is you do. But hopefully whatever I showed you today, you could take and utilize in your world and for your purpose. So again, if you liked what you saw, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell so you're notified every time I make a new video. And most importantly, I appreciate you checking me out. This is Justin with Backyard Bushcraft, signing out.